Sam Thompson with Reanimator, he has 10-3, and then Steven Schlepphorst, who is also 10-3 with Reliquary Retreat.
I know you have some affection for this Reanimator deck.
I do.
Played it in Grand Prix in the past, probably playing it, as you mentioned, in the Grand Prix in Seattle coming up pretty soon.
Very explosive, so I'm a fan. Windswept Teeth is going to search up a green mana, and that'll allow him to cast Green Sun Zenith, which will search up a Dryad Arbor, and that's how round number 14 will start here in St. Louis.
The interaction that Schlepphorst has here, game one, he's got 4 copies of Force of Will, 3 copies of Daze. Swords to Plowshares work sometimes, but not that frequently. Same story with Jace the Mind Sculptor. The 1 copy of Caracas, very good here.
Exhume, the draw here for Thompson. For those of you new to Reanimator, pretty simple. Put a big dummy into play as fast as possible. Typically, it's going to be Gristlebrand, but because you do have Entomb, you do have a little bit of control over which creature you are able to put onto the battlefield. Here's a Thoughtseize that's going to be targeting Schlepphorst. That's a lot of lands and another Reliquary that hits the graveyard.
But as a consolation prize here for Schlepphorst, there is a Wasteland in hand against Underground Sea on the other side of the table. That could be Thompson's only mana.
Yep.
But to say that he was leaning on that Knight of the Reliquary is an understatement.
I am inclined to agree with you. To Schlepphorst, we are going to go. He will Wasteland that Underground Sea. Dryad Harbor, come on in there.
With a flourish.
Indeed.
And Schlepphorst has drawn Caracas.
That one, quite good against Reanimator. He's going to want to slow roll that. Thompson will draw, picked up a copy of Reanimate. Does have Brainstorm in hand, Force of Will as well. Now, how do you get around Caracas, you may ask, with Reanimator? It depends on which threats you are playing in the deck. There are legendary threats which do not help, like Gristlebrand, Iona, and Elish Norn. However, there are non-legendary threats that work around Caracas in a Grave Titan and Tidespower Tyrant, or you can go the old Reanimate route with Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, Reanimate for who knows what reason can also target stuff in your opponent's graveyard.
Yep.
So this is a backup plan.
Sam Thompson getting a little creative here.
No, Jerry Thompson has at times been advocate for putting 1 copy of Reanimate into various Sultai control decks. Get back your Baleful Strix and your Snapcaster Mages and so forth. And who knows, sometimes your opponents can have a goodie down there too.
Hey, that's a play you got to know for the mirror, by the way. Your opponent goes entombing and other such nonsense. I'm just going to take your creature. Thank you much. Tropical Island, the draw here for Thompson. A forest to go with the Knight, which
combo.
Sam readily knows.
I like that he pointed it out.
Yep.
Just so you know, I can combo off too.
There's also a Bayou in the deck.
Oh,
Yep.
so many potential.
Going to pass back, not even going to attack. I love it. Schlepphorst will draw.
I mean, Thompson is an activation away from making himself a Loxodon Smiter over there.
Look out.
He start going to work.
Schlepphorst with another Misty. All you can do is pass the turn back. Sam, what's next for you? He's going to play a Brainstorm.
Oh, he gets to shuffle with the Knight.
Force of Will, Swamp, and a Lotus Petal. Well,
this is a delight.
There's some rubbish to put back on top of the deck, that's for sure.
Shuffle away. Now it's a 4/4.
Oh, no activation? Boo. I'm a little surprised by that.
He might like his hand too much.
All right.
I don't know how you don't activate there. But Thompson must like his hand.
Yeah, there's a Swamp. See what else Sam wants to do right now. Currently a 3/3 Knight with Underground Sea in the graveyard. Pass the turn back. Schlepphorst will draw. To say he was all in on Knight of the Reliquary is an understatement. There's a Tundra. There's a retreat to Coral Helm. So there's the new retreat from Battle for Zendikar. One piece of the puzzle to the deck. Schlepphorst going to take a look.
Some fetch lands already at the ready.
And Thompson might consider Force of Willing this, and I think that might be pretty smart.
Well, he knows that Schlepphorst's hand is light on action. I mean, he got Thoughtseize, there was no spells left in the hand, so this card allows for a lot of scry. Even setting aside the implications with the combo, also means that Schlepphorst would have some sort of control over combat in the event that Thompson reanimates something large. So probably best to just keep this off the table.
Now the Reliquary is going to sacrifice the Tropical Island. Get a Delta, sack the Delta, get a Bayou.
Oh. This is not his first time reanimating someone's Knight of the Reliquary.
Ever heard of it?
Knows the angles. The polluted Delta gets the Bayou. The Bayou is a
Forest,
for the
Knight.
combo deck.
Yep. Combination.
Combination.
I think this could be your newest shirt for combination.
Yeah.
Reanimate Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah. Reanimate any creature.
Yeah. Thompson will draw. Found a Brainstorm. Another free shuffle. Gonna cast right now. 3 cards coming here for Sam. Found an Elishnorn in there. Looks like there's also a Careful Study and an Exhume in hand.
Now we know that Schlepphorst has a lot of this covered because of the Karakas in hand. Thompson, I think, would ideally like Grave Titan if he had perfect information.
That or Tight Spout Tyrant, either one.
Yeah.
Just something that's non-legendary. Sacrifice a Delta, will Sam. Fall down to 12 now. There's an Underground Sea.
Given up on the Knight of the Reliquary chain
It's over.
for now.
Here's a Careful Study. Perhaps he finds some lands to discard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 2 cards coming. Elishnorn and Reanimate will bite the dust. I think we'll see a Lotus Petal here. Yes. Petal will be sacrificed. It's time for an Exhume. Exhume is going to bring back Elishnorn, which will take care of the Dryad Arbor. And now Knight of the Reliquary will get to attack for a relevant amount of damage. You see kind of the lands, the base power and toughness, and then the +2/+2 that Elishnorn provides. A pretty healthy attack here.
Not a shabby turn, though. A lot of this is going to be undone by Karakas.
Schlepphorst does fall down to 12. There is Karakas. Pick up that Elishnorn. Now Schlepphorst is going to sacrifice 2 fetch lands. And now it's a Green Sun Zenith for a Knight of the Reliquary. Perhaps Steven's working his way back into this game. There's a Trop.
Schlepphorst's Knight going to be a lot better than Sam's Knight.
Indeed. Another Trop. Now Zenith will resolve. Zenith will go grab a Knight. And while that Knight is not active just yet, I'm pretty sure it's bigger than Sam Thompson's Knight already. 5 lands in the graveyard makes Schlepphorst's Knight of the Reliquary a 7/7.
And if both of these players are sort of idling, waiting for their Knights to grow, Schlepphorst has a huge edge because he has a Sagiri step in his deck.
Very true.
So if they're just sort of staring at each other for a while, it does not take a long time for Schlepphorst to generate lethal and be able to attack through a blocker.
Verdant Catacombs. Another land that can go to the bin. But all Thompson can do is pass the turn back. There's a Tundra there for Schlepphorst.
And Schlepphorst now sitting on a hard castable Force of Will with Karakas back up. A Knight he can start spinning. And a Sagiri step that Thompson may not know about or be playing around.
It's very true.
And if that Sagiri step gets put into play, it's going to be lethal in one shot.
Another Verdant Catacombs. Weird game we got going here.
And you also just have to respect the possibility that Schlepphorst can activate the Knight and then find a land that he can also put in the graveyard, be it Wasteland, be it Horizon Canopy, although there's no copies of Horizon Canopy in this list. So Thompson really can't make an attack. Schlepphorst just has a better Knight of the Reliquary deck, which makes sense because his deck plays with Knight of the Reliquary and Thompson's does not.
Let's see what land Stephen wants to search up here. He sacrificed a tropical island. Going to consult his hand here, see what he wants to go for. Clearly unsure of himself at this juncture.
Now, the Sagiri step is a little bit more complicated than he can simply go get it, because he needs a knight that's eligible to attack.
Yeah.
So he needs to either draw the card naturally, find a second copy of Knight of the Reliquary, or find a retreat to Coral Helm, which will allow him to untap his knight. But those are a lot of different ways for him to get there.
Gonna go with Kessig Wolf Run.
And this is another way to set it up, which this may just simply force a block on Thompson's side of the table.
Knight's already big, and it's only getting bigger. Schlepphorst will draw. Conveniently does have red and green mana out there. Here's 2 mana. What's coming next? Might be another knight.
Another knight makes it very easy. He doesn't even have to do anything risky this turn.
Yeah.
Because again, he has 1 knight to go get Sagiri step. The other knight can attack. That's going to be lethal.
Looks like Thompson's going to sacrifice a Verdant Catacombs. I believe this Knight of the Reliquary is still on the stack here for Stephen Schlepphorst. Down to 11 goes Thompson. What land to search up, assuming there are some left to find? He's going to go with the Bayou. Sacrifice this Verdant Catacombs, fall down to 10.
I think we're going to see a hard cast Force of Will on the way.
Probably a good idea. This is all in response currently to Schlepphorst's Knight of the Reliquary. So here is Force of Will. That's going to be hard cast. Try to stop that knight from entering the battlefield.
I like forcing back. Schlepphorst knows that Thompson's last card here is a worthless Elish Norn. And Schlepphorst knows that the second Knight of the Reliquary represents an easy kill next turn. So this is definitely worth the fight.
No attack to be made just yet, it appears. Though, it looks like Stephen wants to know just how large Sam's knight is. So they're checking the sizing here.
Unless this attack forces a chump block, I don't see a lot of value in attacking.
Seems needlessly risky, perhaps. You also just know that your opponent's not working with very much.
Right. You know the hand is just Elish Norn. You know you have a kill next turn. I would rather just hang back.
Here's an activation. Yeah, Stephen's knight is an 8-8. Sam's is 7-7, though it looks like it just became an 8-8. But Stephen's always going to be able to outpace Sam's.
Yeah. He's just better set up for this kind of battle because he can go get fetch lands, he can go get wasteland. He has a lot more things to boost his knight by +2/+2, +3/+3. So Thompson here getting a delta, doing the same thing, but I don't think Thompson can really muster up an attack here, as he's likely to die on the way back.
Yeah.
And Schlepphorst is fine playing defense because with these 2 knights in play, he has an easy path to a kill.
So Thompson will draw. He'll play a careful study. 2 cards coming. 2 cards will have to go to the graveyard in just a moment. Elish Norn, Exhume, and I believe an Entomb in the hand.
Yeah, the hope there was that for Thompson to find something like Grave Titan or Tidesprout Tyrant.
Now here's an Exhume. However, I do not believe this will get Sam Thompson very far. Again, with an active Caracas out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is
And Dryad will come back and it'll die again because of state-based effects. Fernella Schnorr giving -2, -2. Now here's an attack. This is purely a hope that Steven Schlepphorst makes a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, this is Thompson playing to his outs, which is Schlepphorst saying no blocks, not activating Caracas.
Saw it. I believe this knight is enough to attack for lethal because of the delta that's on the battlefield. So I would be shocked if Schlepphorst doesn't block. But again, this is Thompson playing to his outs because he can't, he's just dead next turn.
Yep.
It's just over. And I'm even fine with a double block here.
Double block's fine, single block's fine. Just don't get killed.
Yeah. Just do not die, and that's exactly what did not happen. Steven Schlepphorst is going to win game number 1 here over Sam Thompson. Reliquary Retreat up a game here over Reanimator. Haven't seen the combo portion of Reliquary Retreat just yet, but the ability to just draw and activate another Reliquary looks to be pretty powerful in this deck by itself.
Knight is awesome. I mean, Knight is an awesome Magic card in any game that's slow once your deck is set up for it. And Schlepphorst's deck is definitely better set up for it than Thompson's.
Sideboard time. We'll start with Sam Thompson in his Reanimator deck. He's got 2 Jace Vryn's Prodigy, a Golgari Charm, 2 Pithing Needle, Nation Rider, 3 Abrupt Decays, 3 Duresses, 2 Massacres, and a Surgical Extraction.
Well, any card he can get his hands on here that answers any of the Reliquary, I think Thompson's going to be very well served to bring in. So the 3 copies of Abrupt Decay, the 2 copies of Pithing Needle. Also seems like a good matchup for Jace Vryn's Prodigy. He's probably punching through a couple counter spells here, not a lot in the way of creature removal. And so Jace against decks that are light on removal should be pretty powerful.
Other side of things, you're going to find a lot of one-ofs here for Schlepphorst. An Engineered Explosives, Pithing Needle, Tormod's Crypt, Is It Static Caster, Qasali Pride Mage. Scavenging Ooze, Crop Rotation, Crows and Grip, Path Exile, Submerge, Gaddock Teak, Council's Judgment, Bojuka Bog, and then 2 copies of Envelop.
A lot of great anti-graveyard cards here in the Bojuka Bog and the Tormod's Crypt. And Bojuka Bog is so good here that I think that Schlepphorst will bring in his copy of Crop Rotation to pair with it. Envelop is also a very powerful counterspell against Reanimator because most of their ways of reanimating things are sorcery speed. Envelop tags most of the critical cards.
And those are the options there for both players. We'll be underway here in game number 2 momentarily. Now, when we take a look at this Reliquary Retreat deck, how does it line up on the next level Magic scale as far as deck building is concerned? You see next level deck building, it's kind of combo control, maybe?
I would actually say I would go with aggressive combo.
Go aggressive combo here?
Go aggressive combo.
Very mid-rangey, but there's a combo kind of tossed into this deck.
Exactly.
So you see Next Level Library here from Patrick Chapin. He is the innovator. 2 beautiful books here, Next Level Magic, Next Level Deck Building.
Yes. Next Level Deck Building, of course, focusing on deck building and Next Level Magic, focusing on playing a better game of Magic. These books are for players of all ability levels on paperback and ebook right now at starcgames.com/nextlevel.
Patrick Chapin, of course, the Hall of Famer, 2-time Worlds runner-up, Pro Tour champion, and one heck of an author as well. I know the Open Series coming to Denver later this year. Perhaps we'll see him out there.
I've talked to him about it. He's got a full plate, you know.
Well, he's a busy guy.
Busy guy. Don't know if he'll be able to make it out. Also, just might prefer to stay in his house. It's going to be a little on the chilly side.
I guess it will be a little chilly up there in Denver when we do go at the beginning of December. And there's no sports that weekend. That's what I'm disappointed about.
Pretty disappointing.
No Colorado Avalanche or Denver Nuggets game that weekend. Who schedules this stuff?
I mean, you have some hand in it.
No, I don't. No, I do not. That's not true.
I know I don't. I just show up where I'm told to show up.
And you know what? You do a heck of a job at that. So we appreciate that.
I try.
Yep.
It is literally the least I can do.
Again, we thank you. We do thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, we do know a couple players that look to be locked for top 8 so far this evening. Tom Ross. This is 2 top 8s in a row for Tom.
Yep.
He top 8 in Atlanta with Bant Megamorph. We did a little standard action, and now he's going to top 8 here again with Infect. Well, it looks like Eric Hawkins and Matthew Tickle, 2 players who, in my opinion, really needed this top 8.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's likely Hawkins goes to the Players' Championship, and Tickle's still fighting. And they've, of course, done a lot of work in the IQs, but you want to have a couple signature wins and top 8s on the resume. couple finishes you can point to, other people can point to, instances of you playing well on camera. Hawkins certainly has had several of those this weekend. And
Absolutely.
That stuff matters.
This is, for me, this is really Eric's breaking out party this weekend. Because we can tell, this is a guy who, when we watch him play, you can tell he understands what's going on, but he has really demonstrated that quite a bit here with Storm this weekend.
We've watched him play other formats. I think he's played solid on camera in the opens that I've covered him. He has played better than solid by a lot with Storm this weekend.
Yes. I have been impressed with his play with Storm this weekend. It's not an easy deck to play.
No, it is not.
No. Well, certainly not a deck I'm going to put my hands on.
Just like everything else, it's easy to play the easy games. The decks that don't have Force of Will and you're just kind of counting and whatever, that stuff's easy. When you're playing against Force of Will, when you're playing against some unknown draws and you have to do some risk assessment, that's where you get to see the skill gap between the people who are okay and the people who are very good.
Well, we will have Sam Thompson here on the play against Steven Schlepphorst, and it looks like your Zoo deck just racked up another victory in the Modern Premier IQ. Huh?
I bring it with me to loan it out to people. Good friend of Chris Van Meters, who met formally for the first time yesterday.
Indeed.
4-0 right now.
Yeah. Patrick always willing to lend out the Zoo deck to anyone looking to play a little Modern.
Yeah.
And I believe for Patrick, it is called The Truth.
Yeah, I've just been going out to people the whole weekend asking if they want to borrow The Truth.
Yes. Unclear what that means, but it's another name for his Zoo deck.
Unclear what that means, except that it's totally clear what that means. No one's confused by that.
I'm surprised you're not calling this one the Stone Tablets.
I'm mixing it up.
Okay. We are underway here with a Ponder.
So the decks I build, I put into 3 tiers. One is, I would not play this.
Okay.
That's tier 1. Tier 2 is, I would play this in a tournament but would not recommend it to other people. And then tier 3 is, I would recommend this to other people. And the truth is in tier 3. I recommend it to other people.
The Truth Zoo. We can call this the Truth Tour.
Just me traveling around the country, loaning out this deck to people in IQs.
Someone just take it. He's a man of the people. Just a tropical island there for Schlepphorst. Thompson has one as well.
I don't want to say that you're guaranteed to have a good time. I want to say that if you don't have a good time, it's your fault.
You're not guaranteed to have a good time. See what Schlepphorst has here for turn number 2. Slow start here for Thompson yet again. This deck is typically a lot more explosive than this. Here's a Wasteland. We'll get a Brainstorm in response. Looks like it's targeting the tropical island. 3 cards coming here for Sam. 1's an Ashen Rider. 2's an Abrupt Decay. 3 is a Force of Will.
I like going to Ashen Rider in this matchup. Thompson now playing inside the Reliquary plus Caracas needs to have a good mixture of reanimation targets that are non-legendary. Ashen Rider, a very good response tonight of the Reliquary.
Couple cards going back there from the Brainstorm. Brainstorm done resolving. And now here's an Entomb. Shuffle effect with Brainstorm.
Some assembly required.
Indeed. Entomb will resolve. Curious to see what Thompson wants to find here. We know he's got a Grave Titan in his main deck. Also has a copy of Tidespout Tyrant as far as non-legendary options go, because you never know if Schlepphorst does have that Caracas like he did last game.
I mean, you don't know how many copies. I mean, these decks can have more than one.
Yep.
Sometimes they're hanging out in the sideboard.
Gonna go with Gristlebrand, however. And now Tropical Island's gonna die. So now the big question here is, does Thompson have the reanimation spell?
Looks like Schlepphorst is sitting back on a hand with a bunch of blue cards in it, so he might be able to fight a fight over this. Also remember that Schlepphorst has a crop rotation in his sideboard. I assume that he brought in that crop rotation, can get a Bajuka Bog in the post-board games, another line of defense.
Pretty nice. Schlepphorst will pass the turn back over to Thompson. Thompson will draw, picks up a Ponder. Looks like he does have a copy of Reanimate, so now it's time to reanimate Gristlebrand, or at least try to. There's an Envelop.
Ooh, put it in the envelope.
My goodness. Force of Will target Envelop. Exiling a Ponder. Envelop is countered, but now Force of Will is going to go after Reanimate. Removing Brainstorm. And it looks like Reanimate will be countered. And Sam Thompson isn't working with another reanimation spell, so Schlepphorst had the necessary defenses, and he just drew a copy of Wasteland.
Oh, and did Thompson miss his land drop?
It appears that he has.
I think that's what we call a whammy.
Well, I know what you would do.
Don't think too hard about this, man. He missed his land drop. Yes.
There you go. There you go. Just wants to make sure it's right.
Just wants to let Thompson stew there for a second. Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful magic.
Thompson drew a copy of Abrupt Decay.
A spell. A spell that requires mana.
And now Patrick is in heaven as a windswept teeth here for Schlepphorst. It's an underground sea. He's worked his way out of the Wasteland mana screw. And now it's a Ponder. Ponder will resolve. Exhume is 1. Polluted Delta is 2. Force of Will appears to be card number 3 here for Sam Thompson.
Well, this almost feels like it's got to be a shuffle. I mean, it's painful, but with no second land on the way for a while, I'm not sure where this goes exactly.
Let's see what we have here for Schlepphorst. Oof.
Ugh.
Gonna have to forcible that one, I think. Yeah. Removing Brainstorm.
1 ooze in the board.
Ooze is taken care of.
I like that Schlepphorst has a lot of cards in his deck, in his sideboard, that are one-ofs and they look a little odd, but he can search for them. He can get the Bajuka Bog in a variety of ways. He has Green Sun Zenith, so he can get the Scavenging Ooze in a variety of ways. So even though it looks like there are these oddball one-ofs, he has these tutor engines that allow him a couple different paths to go and get it.
This is the last call to sign up for today's Legacy Challenge. If you want to sign up for today's Legacy Challenge, please take me down to the site.
Just a Misty and a pass. Vendilion clicking the draw step. Pretty nice.
This is brutal. I mean, Thompson looked like he had a window here to maybe get an Exhume to resolve.
You see the hand now, though. It's Exhume and 2 copies of Abrupt Decay. Schlepphorst will write those cards down, but I think he's going to be taking an Exhume here, though he does have a copy of the envelope.
He can let him keep it, I guess, but it feels like his average draw step has to be worse than a must-counter spell.
Yep. And that's why he's going to take Exhume. Card will be drawn. Didn't get a great look. I think it was a big knucklehead, though. Pass the turn back, Will Thompson. Schlepphorst will untap those 3 lands. He'll take a draw step of his own.
I'm not a big fan of the pass there unless you think it's a big priority for you to leave up the Polluted Delta, because, I would have just used the Abrupt Decay straight away, because if Schlepphorst goes, draw, put Caracas on the table, now you're in a ton of trouble.
It's bad news, then.
I would have killed the click straight away. It looks like no Caracas to be found here for Schlepphorst, so not a big deal, but Thompson there, I think, took a pretty big risk for not a lot of value.
There's Abrupt Decay. Here's a Brainstorm in response. Green Sun Zenith, neither the Reliquary and Misty Rainforest are the cards that are drawn. 2, of course, we'll have to go back here, and there's a fetch line on the battlefield, so it'll be a pretty good Brainstorm.
And this sets up Schlepphorst for neither Reliquary alongside Envelop mana. I mean, this is not necessarily the best thing, because Schlepphorst is aware that Thompson still has another copy of Abrupt Decay in hand, but Thompson is running really light on resources, as you can tell.
And there goes Vendilion Click. Schlepphorst will just pass the turn back. Thompson gonna draw. Verdant Catacombs just pass the turn back. Schlepphorst will draw. He'll play a Knight. You see the hand here for Sam Thompson. It's Entomb and Abrupt Decay. Abrupt Decay will take care of the Knight. Back over to Sam we go. Polluted Delta the draw. Gonna sacrifice the Misty Rainforest, will Schlepphorst, and get himself a tropical island.
And if Schlepphorst can get a Knight of the Reliquary to stick, either by casting it or using green something to go get it, I don't know if Thompson can get out. It's not going to take that long for Schlepphorst to just hang back and build up a Knight of the Reliquary to be lethal. And he can also use it to get Caracas or Bajuka Bog at a moment's notice. I don't know if Thompson can play through that card.
Well, here's a Zenith. It's very hard to play through an active Knight.
And Schlepphorst had the option of casting Jace the Mind Sculptor that turn. He knows this is a much firmer lock. If he untaps with this card and play, it's probably over.
Yep.
Says a lot that you could have the opportunity to play Jace on a stable board, and Schlepphorst is saying, nah, this is more powerful.
Well, the window isn't very open for Sam Thompson. He's got to take advantage of things this turn.
And if Schlepphorst is sitting on Envelop, I don't know if there's a path for Thompson to get something into play this turn.
Sam will draw. Golgari Charm. Not what the doctor ordered.
Not a whole lot to do with Golgari Charm in this matchup. There are some one-time creatures in the deck. Vendilion Click, Noble Hierarch, and Birds of Paradise, but not a great card in the matchup and not really good right now, although there is Sylvan Library, I suppose.
Right on cue, something to kill.
Magic players in standard. That is time in round 4. Active player. Finish your turn, proceed to 5 additional turns.
Might be time for Jace. Yeah, not a bad place to go. Rarely is. Starts at 3. See if it'll stay at 3. Perhaps time to brainstorm. Could Fate Seal. Don't think on summon's going to come up right now.
I go either way with it. The Fate Seal is a little less attractive because Thompson can shuffle the deck once, but I don't know how many relevant cards there is for Schlepphorst to brainstorm into at this point. And in fact, he, in a weird way, I guess it doesn't matter if he finds the Bajuka Bog because he can simply set it back with the brainstorm. He does not want to draw a Bajuka Bog.
That's the worst thing that could happen.
Because then he can't access it at instant speed.
Oof.
Tormod's Crypt's not bad.
Got a hater in the house here. Tell you what.
Just another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. Somebody doesn't want to lose to Reanimator or Dredge this weekend. Ponder the draw here for Thompson. And that's probably where his turn's going to start, but I don't know if he can overcome all of this. Going to sacrifice Verdant Catacombs here, will Sam.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like Tormod's Crypt more than just another card that Schlepphorst could search for, either Scavenging Ooze or Bajuka Bog, but it's certainly good to have in play.
Yep. There are worse spots to be in. Here's Ponder. Reanimate, Gristlebrand, Verdant Catacombs.
The question is now, what is Thompson even on the search for?
I don't know if
there's no show and tell package in his sideboard.
Yep.
Sometimes you see show and tell come in and out of the sideboard for Reanimator in matchups where they think that their graveyard's not going to be a resource they can access reliably. Thompson doesn't have that. He can only really do things through his graveyard, and Schlepphorst is not going to let that happen this game.
This game, no. Tormod's Crypt, Knight that can search for Bajuka Bog, Knight that can search for Caracas if you do get a legendary creature on the battlefield. No. Outs are very limited here, to say the least.
And Schlepphorst is threatening to kill him pretty fast, too.
Knight doesn't waste any time on that either.
Not like Thompson has a lot of time to sculpt the perfect hand, and I don't even know what the perfect hand looks like right now.
Grave Titan the draw.
I mean, I guess hard casting Grave Titan isn't the worst, but
it's going to take a little while.
And Schlepphorst can also just loop some Wastelands if he's... I guess he's out of Wastelands at this point.
Oh, poor guy.
He's only got 2 in the deck, which is 2 fewer than the maximum they allow you to play, which I'm not a big fan of, but... It's neither here nor there.
I had never known that you were a big Wasteland fan. That's new news to me and everyone else watching at home. Here's a Knight activation. There's a Caracas, tightening the grip on this game. It's getting harder to win here for Sam Thompson.
Yeah.
It might be impossible already.
He has to go through his graveyard to do something, unless he's able to cast Grave Titan. And even then, Jace has that pretty well covered too.
Schlepphorst will draw. Now I just want to see retreat to Coral Helm. Even though I don't know if he can go off with it or not.
Wouldn't surprise me if those got boarded out.
Days, Sylvan Library, a couple other things hiding out in the grip here. Noble Hierarch too.
With the amount of anti-graveyard measures that Schlepphorst has, sometimes decks that can go fast feel the need to stay fast because Reanimator is so fast, and that's the best way to fight them, is try to win early on your own. But Schlepphorst has so much to interact with the graveyard that he might just say, I can just be a Bant control deck and beat you that way.
And he's doing a nice job of that right now, so. He doesn't have to take any crazy measures with that combo, I don't think. Knight came into the red zone there. Thompson down to 8. He'll just pass the turn back.
Yeah, and when Schlepphorst having crop rotation in hand, now he can attack with Knight because he can still access the Bajuka Bog at instant speed. If somehow his Sea of Counters and Torbad's Crypt proves insufficient to stop Thompson's action.
Would you say he has it all?
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Challenge players, that is the Legacy
There's a
Challenge
Windswept Teeth.
side
Here's a pretty
event.
big attack.
Your pairings for the
Ah,
first
yes, a
round.
charm. We'll
And
give it
posted
-1,
on
-1.
yellow paper.
I don't think that's going to be enough.
I don't think so. Schlepphorst saw it with the Windswept Teeth, and that's going to do it. Steven Schlepphorst is going to win this game and match here over Sam Thompson, 2-0. Reliquary Retreat will take care of Reanimator, which means that this innovative deck that Schlepphorst had featured in the sideboard, Ken Crocker, is still top 8 eligible here. He moves on to 11-3.
Absolutely. We still have to see what's going on with Thomas Herzog and Chris Van Meter, our X2 and 2 players, to have an idea if X3 and 1 is going to be a viable record for the top 8.